Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the Serenity Resource Connector. So, for the previous 8 weeks, we have been doing some virtual hand holding for those who are looking to get into business, those who may be in business but you need to formalize. So, we had 8 whole weeks of virtual hand holding. And on this episode, we bring that virtual hand holding, which is Give Your Business the Right Foundation to Grow series, to a close by connecting you with two powerful resources to get you moving along on your entrepreneurial journey. Stay tuned. We have a power packed hour or so where we're going to be sharing with these two entities. Stay tuned. You would have seen the posters for those who were invited or on the platform. So, right now, I'm going to bring on our first guest for this episode. But before she comes on, let's do a proper introduction. So, Nashauna Lalah has been actively involved in volunteer work both locally and internationally for more than 20 years. As a member of the Geneva, Switzerland based World Council of the Young Women's Christian Association, she has traveled extensively promoting the economic and social empowerment of young women and their families across the world. As the sole Caribbean representative on the council for 4 years, she advocated for the improvement of living conditions of women in Jamaica and the region as she attended and presented at international NGO conferences and forums in Europe, Africa, South and Central America. Nashauna is an accomplished communications manager with over 16 years of experience working in media. She was previously the lifestyle editor at the Gleaner Company Media Limited, the youngest person to have been appointed to that post. She also held the role of entertainment editor, responsible for the daily entertainment offering of the Gleaner and the Star, before joining the Honeybun Foundation, or family rather, in July 2019. And that's the capacity in which Nashauna will be sharing with us on this episode of the Serenity Resource Connector. Nashauna, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Winsome. It's a pleasure to be here this afternoon.
You're so welcome. 20 years, Nashauna.
Started young.
Amazing, amazing. So I remember like it was just yesterday when Honeybun Foundation was launched.
It's
And now
2019, yes.
Honeybun Foundation is making strides. But before we get into the conversation, let's hear from Michelle Chung what she had to share on the Honeybun.
Honeybun has grown significantly over the last 38 years. And having grown the business, it feels a little lonely not to share. And we want to share it to build Jamaica, not just to earn money. We want to share it so Jamaica can be wealthy. The Honeybun Foundation believes in the creative industry because Jamaica's greatest opportunity for growth lies within the creative industry. To me, that is our brand Jamaica. and called for a purpose. And the purpose is the foundation. This was God's perfect timing as it relates to why the foundation. It's just a seed planted in me. I don't know where it came from. I didn't ask for it. It was just planted in me, and this I knew was something I had to do.
Powerful. Oh, look at that. Purpose indeed. And a heart for service. Oh, amazing. And it's really great as businesses when businesses see the need to give back. And I believe it's really a heart for service that drives persons to do those things in terms of and selecting that the creative industry. Is that what they call the orange economy?
Exactly.
Yes,
That is the
right.
orange economy. So we are for SMEs and the creative industry. So we're actually looking at two sectors in what we do.
Awesome. Right. So let's take it back to where you all started. You started initially because a lot of things have happened since that launch.
Yes.
You started with the training calendar.
Yes, the first model. So what? Okay, so let me just say that the mission of the Honeybun Foundation is creating powerful business models for SME and the creative industry to become transformational industries for Jamaica's economy. So what we're doing is not just for Honeybun, it's for the Jamaican economy. So that is the standpoint from which we come. And when we launched in 2019, the first model that we launched was actually our national training calendar. Now, what this is a collection of training that's available in the ecosystem for SMEs and those in the creative industry. So that it's from January to December. And when you go on the calendar, as you would see, you can filter by training categories, training organization, and so when you click on a training that would be of interest for you, it would tell you when the training is, where it would be, the duration. You'd have a little intro as to what the training entails and also the cost. Because what happens is that there's a lot of training out there, but a lot of persons are not aware of the training that's available. And so, for example, if I know that there's a knowledge deficit in my organization, in marketing, for example, and I would think, where could I get some training on marketing? We put everything on the national training calendar, so it's easy for persons to find the training that they need for the persons within their organization. The Honeybun Foundation does not do training, but this was a gap we saw that existed in that persons weren't readily aware of where the training was. Now, when you go on the Honeybun Foundation website, which is the honeybunfoundation.com, and you go on a national training calendar, when you see the training that you are interested in, you just click I am interested. And then that would send an email to the training organization. And then from there, your communication is with the training organization. So what we're doing with this training calendar is that we're connecting persons. And one of the main criteria for the training is that it must be held twice a year so that SMEs can plan. So, if, for example, I wouldn't be able to afford to have anyone in my organization trained in January, then I would see that this particular course that I'm interested in is available again in September. So I can plan to have someone attend that training to get the knowledge that the company would need to take it from where it currently is to growth.
Love it. Love it. The concept, as you just shared it now, is so similar to the resource connector because that's what we do. Connect people with people to keep the ecosystem going, right? Because there's so many training available, but
Yes,
it's interestingly a number of people are not aware of this
exactly.
training, right? So bringing it in this one centralized location is that is why I refer to these tools as really powerful, just bringing it together so that you just go to one location, the honeybunfoundation.com, and you're able to see and book your training spot so
Yeah,
organization can properly plan.
yeah. So
And
you'll see,
right,
right.
right. And it's not just for large organization because really and truly it's for
It's for SME.
small and medium enterprises and even the solopreneur because especially a
Exactly.
lot of the creatives they are solopreneurs. So this is really
Ex-
awesome.
Yeah, we want to make it simple for persons. So when you go on the training calendar, you see that there's training offered by Jamaica Stock Exchange, Cube, Action Coach, I Create, UCC, UE Open Campus, Mona School of Business and Management. So instead of the entrepreneur having to think of all the various entities that might have training, we've made the job easier by collecting all those training and bringing it together on one platform. And immediately you see the training you're interested in, you click on it and it connects you directly with that training organization.
Awesome. All right. So for those other entities who are offering training, how do they get on the training calendar?
As I said, one of the main thing for to be listed on the training calendar is that the training must be available, must be offered twice per year. Because we do not want it to be that, oh, I'm having a training next week and you reach out to us and say, hey, I'm having this training next week. No. At the beginning of the year, right now we're in the process of putting the calendar together. And all the training organizations, particular training must be available twice per year so that again it's all about planning so that SMEs can plan to have these training.
Right. But is there an option on the website where they submit their
Sure.
request to be added to
or
the?
e- or email and our phone number is listed there so they would reach out to us and we would discuss the particulars of the training and then it would be listed on the training calendar.
Awesome. Seems simple as one, two, three.
Simple as one, two, three.
Right. And what I'm hearing there and I'm seeing mentally is the opportunity for those who have established a training or organization to get into a central location where they can easily connect with clients.
Because we promote these trainings so that SMEs can know who's offering the training and when they're offering it. Because we
Right.
know that the training is out there, but a lot of persons don't know who is offering it. So we are making it easier for the SMEs to get the knowledge they need to grow their business.
Right. That is really fantastic stuff and really powerful. Right. And you talked earlier about bridging the gap, which is where the power is in bridging the gap. And
Mhm.
so the next powerful model was the Gap app. So,
Exactly.
so let's see a little about what the Gap app is about, and then we can get into the conversation.
Okay.
Wow. Let's tell the viewers some more about the Gap app, where that model started, and how to use it.
Okay. So the Gap app is a business diagnostic tool. And it's an app, we all have app that you download on your cell phone. It's in the palm of your hand. And what it does is it shows you what the gaps are in your business and where to go to fill those gaps. How it does that is that there's a survey built into the app. And when you download it, so everybody, whether you have iPhone or you have an Android device, you go to the Play Store and you download the Gap app. No, it's simple. It takes about 3 minutes. This is not an extensive, long, all day thing. It takes 3 minutes to complete the survey. So the built-in survey asks you questions in about 11 areas of your business, which nobody knows better than you. And so based on the answer to those questions, it shows you what the gaps are. So whether it is that there's a gap in your finances or in your marketing or in your productivity or in your quality, whatever area of business it is, and then it shows you what those gaps are. Those gaps are color coded. So the red ones are the ones that you get to immediately, and then there are the yellow ones. So once it shows you what those gaps are, you click on those gaps and it shows you where to go to fill those gaps. So all the various products that would help you to fill those gaps in your business are built into the app. So once you click on them, so it fills the gaps in your business in terms of funding. So it might be that you need funding from, say, DBJ or Exim Bank. It shows you how to fill the gap in terms of training. Again, that would take it to our national training calendar. And it shows you how to fill the gap in terms of support organization. So organizations such as JMEA, for example, would be one that would be in the gap to say, hey, to fill this gap, you become a member of this organization. This is what they specialize in. And the most amazing thing about it is that when it shows you what the gaps are and where to go to fill those gaps, for example, in funding, it would say this is a particular product that you may need. You click on it and it takes you exactly to the website of the entity that offers that. Not just the website, but to the exact product. So, for example, if it is that you need working capital and that is a product that's offered by Exim Bank, for example, it doesn't just take you to the Exim Bank website and you search through to find it. No, no, no. It takes you to the exact place on the website with all the information related to that. So it could be that you just fill out the form immediately. So we want to make things quick and easy. So it shows you what the gaps are in your business and it shows you where to go to fill those gaps. And from the app, you can go straight to those organizations and start filling those gaps. But you can do the survey once a month. So the point is that you do it this month and it shows you what the gaps are. You spend the month working on that gap and then next month you do it again. So it's like a thermometer. It constantly taking a temperature of your business, showing you where the gaps are and what you need to work on to grow your business. And as I said, it just takes a few minutes. So we know that the SME that they're very busy. They don't have time for very long in this.
That's it.
So 3 minutes and you can find out what the gaps are in your business and where to go to fill the gaps. And we've heard back from persons who've done it because this was launched in April of 2021, sorry. And they're telling us that, hey, I had an idea that this was a gap in my business, but having done the survey, it confirms. And other persons like, I had no idea. These are areas of my business that I never thought about. But having done the survey in the Gap app, it shows them. And so they have a clear idea of where to go to improve their business, to make their business
Right.
more resilient, stronger, and of course, profitable. So quick and easy, everybody just download the Gap app and immediately you have some form of roadmap as to how you can improve your business going forward.
Yeah, I love the way you put that because it's important to have that guide, that roadmap. And does it provide you? Are you able to download the result at the end of
Yes,
the
so
actual
very
step?
important, very important. What the Gap app does is that it saves your surveys. So when you do it this
Oh,
month, it saves it in it. When you do it next month, it saves it in it. So over time, you can go and it shows you all your surveys, all your report cards, as I like to call it. So you can see where you were and how far you've come. So after a month or two, you might look at it and say, hey, in this month, this is what was my gap. But in this month, that gap was fixed and this was the next one. So it stores all your surveys in the gap so you can see what your scores are each month that you do the survey.
fantastic. So you're basically able to see where you're at, to see if you have made progression or if it is that you need to call in an accountability partner to ensure that you get up to scratch on what you need to get done. And in terms of planning too, what are the training that you need? So now need to start budgeting for that training. When is it
Mhm.
coming up? And you make allowance in your schedule to fit that in, because that's another area for a number of the, especially solopreneurs, that investing in developing themselves because your business will only grow as much as you grow. So
Exactly.
yes, so those trainings are really important and it has to be a part of just as when you have employees, employee training is critical
Yes.
because if it is that they don't have the tools and the skill sets to do what it is that's required of them, then it's in your best interest to provide them with those training. And this is something that can help because that's one of the areas that would have been covered as well in terms of the competence you have
Exactly.
that's in it, right?
Exactly.
Really powerful. And listen to me, this is really powerful because it's as if you have your own little palm pilot that's taking you from this,
Yeah.
not just to show you the gap, but it takes you exactly where you need to go to fill that gap.
And we all have one of these, and we have it in our hands every single day. So there, immediately you have this something you have shows you exactly this is where what I need to do to fix these areas in my business.
That's it. And how to go about doing it.
And it's a
Because
free
sometimes
download.
we know.
It's a free download.
Oh yes. Oh
So,
yes. I downloaded it. I tested it out and it
thank you. And 3 minutes free download, and 3 minutes you can find out what the gaps are in your business and where to go to fill those gaps.
right. And in terms of the areas covered, even though the focus is on the creative industry, it's
And SMEs.
basically an SME. So it's basically anywhere you fall on the spectrum as an SME, that's what will be covered there.
Yeah,
So
because you could be a creative SME.
that's it. That's it. And I mean, and SMEs and SME, the different areas will be the same regardless of whatever industry you're in. And the training is not specific to any one or few industry. So it would cover all of those areas.
Exactly.
If you weren't here with us from the beginning, I'm talking to Nashauna Lalah, the General Manager for the Honeybun Foundation. And I shared that we were going to be talking about some powerful tools. And the Honeybun Foundation Gap App
The National Trading Calendar.
and the National Training Calendar are just two
Two.
models. So we have a third one. But before we get to that third one, here's Nicholas giving you a shout out.
Hi, Nicholas.
Thank you for joining, Cecilia, earlier. No, Nicholas. All right, awesome. Love the support because that's the thing.
Yes.
Because the Honeycomb
Actually
Foundation, yes.
Nicholas is actually one of the volunteer on our marketing committee. So you
Ah,
have for exactly, so he helped us in marketing our models and the foundation. So you have persons who are willing to help and do their little part because it's all about Jamaican. So here we have Nicholas who is tuning in, who's one of our volunteers on our marketing committee.
love it, love it. Kudos, Nicholas. That's another area that we don't pay too much attention to
Volunteering.
because I love to say a lot of what I've learned was not through any of those degrees. It's really through volunteering. I've learned a whole lot. I've done a PhD. When it comes on to volunteering, it's like a
Mhm.
PhD, learning about the
Definitely.
different areas that you're in. So thank you, Nicholas, for giving back to Brand Jamaica.
Yes.
Yeah, because awesome. Thank you, Nicholas. Yes, because that's it. We have to be a part of the solution.
Exactly.
We have
Which
to
is
be a part
why
of
the
it.
yeah, which is
Yes.
why Michelle Chong decided to create the foundation because having grown Honeybun from a small company, she's aware of the challenges that exist and wants to make it easier for upcoming SMEs to grow their business so that one day they can become a Honeybun as well, listed on the Jamaica Junior Stock Exchange, as a publicly traded company.
Yes, each one help one.
Exactly.
Yes, because we need to reach back and pull others with us. That is how we're going to build Jamaica.
Yeah. And talking
That's
about
it.
volunteers, we have a huge cluster of volunteers because our advisory model, which is our third model,
Yes.
is all about volunteers. So what the
Ah,
advisory committee model is that we have certain criteria set out, and each SME who qualify, they get three advisors, not one, not two, but three advisors to
Great.
work with them in creating their strategic roadmap for a year. So this is where you get some hands-on, hand-holding help. And these advisors are CEOs of companies, they're lawyers, they're retired CEOs who want to give back to Jamaica, and this is how they give back. So how the advisory committee works is that once you qualify, and we had the call up on our Instagram page, which is the Honeybun Foundation JM, and also on our website, thehoneybunfoundation.com. And when you send in your application form, as I said, each person's advised three advisors and you create your strategic roadmap. So this is talking about the overall objective that you want to achieve for a year, and you do a 1 year strategic plan. And you meet with these advisors monthly or every other month for the year, and they work with you in completing your strategic roadmap. And these advisors are giving up their time free. They don't charge us to give of their time. So as we're talking about volunteers, our third model, which is the advisory committee, is another one. We in 2020 we did a 6 month pilot study with 10 SMEs, and during that process there was rigorous questionnaire, and we documented the process. So we have the blueprint of how an advisory committee can take a SME from one stage to the next. One of our participants actually said that her revenue increased by 30%, and that is what we want. So the advisory committee is the third model that we have, and all this information is available on our website and on our social media page.
Powerful. So look at that. There's a training calendar, then the gap app that does the assessment, shows you where you're at, bring you to the training calendar if it is that is training that you need to fill the gap on, or directly to other
Online.
resources where you can fill those gaps. And not only that, you get all of three advisors to guide you through that year to help you in terms of bridging the gaps. Really powerful. And the volunteerism, big up to Nicholas again and the other members of the Honeybun Foundation, the advisory board. Thank you for helping to build the branch. All right. Thank you so much, Nashauna. Don't go
Thank you
anywhere.
for
We're
having
going
me,
to bring you
Winston.
back up later. All
All
right. So
right.
there are other questions. Right. So that was Nashauna Lalah from the Honeybun Foundation. I told you these are some powerful tools. And we are going to move on over to the next tool that you need to be aware of if you're not yet aware and you're ought to share with others. So, to talk about that, we have coming on is Rochelle Cameron, who is an attorney at law with 20 years at the Jamaican bar. She served for several years as vice president of legal and regulatory for Flow Caribbean, where she was also company secretary of Cable and Wireless Jamaica Limited and its subsidiaries. She's the founder and currently CEO of, I don't want to mess up your name, Rochelle. You're going to correct when you come on. Prescient Consulting Services Limited, a firm which supports organizations with the development and execution of impactful legal, people, and communication strategies. She's well known for her strategic management, leadership abilities, mentorship, and her blend of business acumen and organizational skills allows her to be a valuable contributor on various private and public sector boards' mentorship. Her diverse experience has given her considerable expertise in corporate governance, mergers and acquisitions, and business development. She has also become a widely called on public speaker for motivation and training in the corporate sphere. And that's just a little bit about Rochelle. That's just a little bit about Rochelle. And she's coming to us in the capacity as the Rochelle. What's the capacity that you're coming to us in this afternoon?
So
Because you do so many things.
well, I'm Chief Project Coordinator for the PSOJ's Access to Finance panel, a project that is focused on improving access to finance for our micro, small, and medium enterprises. So we look at a raft of things from formalizing your business, accessing the finance, putting your business in a position to access the finance, but also providing a training platform to help our MSMEs through COVID and beyond.
Awesome. And we're going to get into some more of those groovy details. But I just have to share this video, Rochelle. I just have to share this video. One moment. Let me share this video. Let's see. Share screen, and we are going to.
Let's face it, money is really one of the biggest reasons businesses don't get off the ground. Even if you have a great idea, without proper funding and proper guidance, it seems impossible to start. That's where we come in. At smallbusinessportal.com, you can find information on loans, grants, investment opportunities, and tips to launch your business. You can achieve your goals. Does that sound good? Get started today at smallbusinessportal.com. Navigating success for your business.
Oh, awesome.
And it was just hearing Nashauna speak on the Honeybun Foundation and the initiatives that are being taken by this foundation in terms of our micro, small, and medium enterprises. A phenomenal endeavor that is really reaping so much success. But very importantly, one of the key tenets is that every large business had started out as a small business. In fact, started as an idea that became a micro business that is now a large business. So it is fantastic to see how this is germinating and becoming such an important part of the ecosystem for our micro, small, and medium enterprises.
Indeed. This is just so the powerful the models. Oh, Nashauna is saying hi, but you're not able to see that. The communication is in the studio. All right, don't worry, I'm gonna bring her back on the screen so we can have a final wrap up. Right, but Rochelle, there's so much on the small business portal, and it's really that a portal because it opens up the avenue to access to trainings, it opens up the access to funding, grants and loans, and all of those. It's just a raft of different things.
Yes.
Tell us how it all started.
So the Access to Finance project started from a recognition that our small businesses are such a major contributor to our gross domestic product, and very importantly, are a major contributor to job creation.
Indeed.
And if you look at it from the gender side, we have a lot of small businesses that are owned and operated by women. So it now becomes a facilitator for the growth of the family and the education of our children. So we are by nature entrepreneurial. What we are not necessarily by nature are persons who understand money. We are not taught about money in school.
Right.
We are not taught about wealth creation and the whole formalizing a business and taking it from where try a thing, where do a thing, we have a little business around, we have a little hustle to
Yes.
actually formalizing, coming under tax regime, which also has the advantage to open up opportunities for who you are able to serve. So that's one aspect of it. But
Yes.
what we want to focus on is how do we get more financing available to grow our businesses from, because some are able to move from micro to small, then the jump from small to medium becomes a big jump, and then the jump from medium to large enterprise becomes a whole other story. And there's a recognition that to be able to grow, there needs to be access to financing outside of your granny give you one money, your uncle send
Yes.
some money from you, your sister say, all right, I'm gonna put some money in the business. Two, where you're able to formally access loans, but also formally access things like debt financing and equity financing. So we do recognize that our banking structure is was not geared towards our SMEs, and a lot of business people
True.
complain that they cannot access the financing. The requirements are extremely strenuous. Opening an account is strenuous. Accessing loans and grants is whole of forms that have to be filled up. And very
Yes.
importantly, the accounting, the audited financials, that kind of information is requested. And in many instances, a lot of our small businesses are unable to provide that. So this became an avenue to bring the stakeholders together, the banks with the business people, with the government agencies to say, how do we create an ecosystem that moves people from the idea generation, that moves people into an actual opportunity to grow their business. So when you go to the bank, you don't feel like say I beg a little money, that you are able to present a proper business plan and you're able to meet the
Right.
criteria. But also, are the criteria too much? Is the criteria too high? Are all of the things that are being requested necessary for different types of businesses? And so the project came out of that need to grow our businesses, to make financing available as a natural course of business to our SMEs, but also equipping our SMEs with the various things and the training they needed to ensure that
Right.
they're in a position to access this. Now, smallbusinessportal.com now becomes a reservoir of information
Yes.
and training material. We are tonight we will be at episode 79 of COVID Cast, which is an educational, a business training program. So we've had a lot of topics because we're at episode 79. Each
Yes.
is supported by a memo which sets out checklists, tips, resource information, and we've been able to pull that information into part of the resource that's available on smallbusinessportal.com that people can click through and get the information. Also, the requirements to get various loans from the banks, and also putting people in touch with resources that will help them with getting audited financials together, putting your business case together. How do you actually formalize your business? What are the
Yes.
different formalization that you can have? Because you may want to register as a company or you may want to register as a business name. What are the opportunities that arise? So we not only always think about tax when we think of formalization. Can't go on tax money. But what's in it for you? Because what's in it is greater access to finance, but also bigger opportunities of persons that you are able to contract with, because more people are requiring, more businesses are requiring
Yes.
their suppliers that formalization. So we are focused on creating a reservoir of information that the ecosystem, from the stakeholders, from the banks, the government, or business people, that we're able to pool this information that persons can easily go somewhere
Right.
to check on this information. And then because of the wide array of educational material, I mean, we talk about formalizing it, we talk about inventory management, we talk about how do you investment management. We just
Yes.
did a 2-day conference on building wealth from the business side and building wealth from the personal side. All of this information is available. And as I said, it's an ecosystem that we're looking at. With COVID, so we all have to get digital. So we're looking at,
Indeed.
for you to be able to manage a business for the next level, you also have to become digital. So we did a digital conference in March. Again, all of the information, the actual visuals, as well as the material. Because when we do a conference, for each topic that we cover, there is extensive written information that you can literally just open up, check off on
Right.
the checklist. Do I have this? What size is my business? What kind of equipment do I need? Where can I get the proper accounting software? For my size business, do I need that highfalutin software? What kind of software I need? So it's that place where, and I call it that no judgment space, where you don't
Yeah.
have to act like you didn't know. Because we all have things that we know well and other things that we need that assistance with. And that's where the PSOJ
Indeed.
business portal comes in.
Wow. Amazing. All right. I love the post. Hi, Miss Chung. Hello, Rochelle. Thanks for sharing. There's a question here. Has the POJ been able to improve the access to finance through the banking system?
Well, and that's a great question because this was a pretty big task that we took on. So one of the key areas, one of the key issues that we were facing was the requirements to open accounts. Because to even be able to access finance, you needed to be in the system. So the government in 2019, there were amendments made to the Proceeds of Crimes Act, which facilitated banks reviewing their credit rating and their risk rating systems so that you could properly put people in the risk of low, medium, and high risk in terms of what you know require the information that's required. That KYC, that know your customer, that long list of requirements. So what we were able to do was through the PSOJ presentations and advocacy through Jamaica Banking Association and actually meeting with the different bankers, pointing out to them what is required, what is the actual information that's required under the law for each level of risk. And we first saw it on the individual banking side that there are no accounts, special accounts and account
Yes.
opening processes that are reduced based on your level of risk. We were still beating on the door for the small business side, but we have now seen where and one of the banks, I think First Global, I hope I'm not speaking out of term, but I think they're first out of the block with an actual small business product that recognizes the reduced risks. So we see now most of the banks have resource centers specifically for the SMEs where they are assisting their SME customers to have the relevant systems in place to access different types of financing. So not just a quick financing, not just credit card, but actual financing to grow the business. We have seen movement from the DBJ Credit Enhancement Fund. So the Credit Enhancement Fund, what that was done is created to allow you to have a source of collateral. So if you're borrowing, so you get through all of the process, you're borrowing the money from the bank and you need the collateral. And the DBJ provides that base collateral in terms of monies. And it's administered through the bank. So that's something that SMEs are able to access, that DBJ collateral funding, that credit enhancement funding that helps them now with collateral towards a loan. The DBJ has also launched technology voucher programs to assist SMEs in digitizing themselves. And we are seeing the Microfinance Credit Act has passed, the Credit Union Act, I think, is underway to being passed. And the BOJ has, in fact, been pushing a lot of conversation on financial inclusion. So, yes, we are seeing that there is improvement. We want to see much more because we want it to be a natural part of the ecosystem. Because, people say when you're in a job, it's easier to get a loan than if you're a business person. That
Yeah.
the barriers seem to be higher for business persons. But even with the legislative changes have facilitated just changes in the requirements that are necessary to meet the criteria.
Awesome. I trust that answered your question, Mrs. Chung. Thank you so much for that question. If there are other questions, remember, now is the time to ask them in the chat, whether you're connecting from Facebook or YouTube. Thank you for being here. Go ahead and ask your question. We're going to bring back on Nashauna Lalah in a little while. So if there are questions regarding the Honeybun Foundation, we're going to have these powerful tools fusing on the Resource Connector this afternoon. So be sure to ask your questions to get additional information. All right. Rochelle, I know you just glossed over a bit in terms of that Thursday program that you have, the COVID Cast JA, really, really powerful. and it comes on. It's on 7:30. It's at 7:30 now on Thursdays.
On Thursday. Yeah.
Right. So be sure to tune into that. And if you miss it, as Rochelle said, everything is on that portal, smallbusinessportal.com.
Yeah.
Everything is housed there. And another beautiful thing that I love about the small business portal is that similar to the Honeybun Foundation, what it does is provides through the other entities the avenue for new emerging consultants and all of that to get this platform where
Yes.
they're able to be in that space. But how do they get on the platform, Michelle?
So for COVID cast, we and so for smallbusinessportal.com, we one of the key next phases for us is building out the full list of various experts. And we're talking about your accountant, so the professional services, because that's a big part of providing the assistance to the ecosystem. What we do have is we have a lot of professional services available that people, in some instances, are like, let me just go on bata and figure this out myself, rather than utilizing the resources. So we try to create a space that people can understand the why of needing the resource, but also giving you a taste of what this resource can provide for you, because it is through education, it's through building the knowledge. Because one of the things that we have to own to, that we
Yeah.
do not teach entrepreneurship. Jamaicans are just natural entrepreneurs. We always try a thing, and um, our ability to move from the thing being a thing to a thing comes with adding some of these, the rigor, the governance around it, having your accounting systems in place. Because yes, you are required in many instances to provide your financial information, but you should really want your financial information. You want to know if the business are make money, because at the end of the day, we are in the business of making money. That's how we are able to create jobs. That's how we are able to create impact, because at the end of the day, it is what this business is doing for the community at large. And we have some amazing business ideas. I see Michelle Chong saying, still not satisfied with the banking system for SMEs, nor are we. There is still a lot more to be done. But one of the things that, when we are able to, one, educate our SMEs to understand what is required, but to also start agitating to in the advocacy. Foundations like the Honeybun Foundation that provide another avenue for SMEs to access. And we are seeing various venture capitalist angel funding programs that are emerging, that now become competition to the banks for those actual loans. So we have to, as MSMEs, make ourselves available to the learning and understand that we can go that much further when we have some of these rigors in place. And where we don't know, we can get the help. So what we say now with the persons who, the experts who are able to provide the information, one of our key tenets is it has to be in language where anybody can understand.
True.
So the lawyers are not speaking to other lawyers where we're speaking using our treatise language, and is therefore, wherefore, henceforth, we have to speak in a way and provide the examples, the practical examples that people can understand. So this is not about experts showing how expert they are, how bright they are. It's the expertise in being able to break down complex matters in a way that our MSMEs can understand. So that is one of the key parts of even how we look for expertise for the program, for providing the written information, that people can take it up and read it and understand. And we put a lot of effort that it must be, it is not being written for the experts. It's being written for business people who are on the move and need to have quick access to information. So that's one of the key things that we look for in our experts.
Indeed, because if the information is out there and it's not in a format that it can be easily understood, you're really not bridging the gap at all. And that is one of the things I appreciate with the program, because I've been on and I've seen where you break it down, and even in the when you have the different conferences and so on, asking the experts to break it down.
You
It's
know.
not time to be talking accounting language. It's not time to be talking engineering.
Because I think we want people to understand. We want people to understand, and we do recognize that at the base of a lot of our businesses, the base problem that a lot of our businesses have is that we don't understand money. We don't understand the accounting structures behind the business, even in its simplest form. So
Yes.
we will be expert at the thing that we are creating, and not, I mean, Jamaica, when we talk about our nation, we have idea. We are
Oh,
idea
yes.
generators. And what we want is for our small businesses to actually grow into next level. And we know it can be done. We have so many examples of businesses on the stock exchange. They all started out small, but they put the rigor, they invested in the rigor to take the business to the next level.
Indeed. And that's one of the area I believe there's an episode that covered that in terms of the venture capitalists and what it is that they go through. And they had real life entrepreneurs sharing the process that they went through, and they thought they had it, but they realized that no,
Exactly.
because that's it. Because one of the things we have to realize too, especially now, so many things, the dynamics have changed, and we have to keep learning and relearning some things in order to stay afloat.
Just in order to stay afloat. And one of the things that I heard Nashauna mention, the advisory council. I know governance. I'm gonna like the word governance because it sounds hard. It just sounds hard. It sounds like
It's
a
very
little.
structured,
It
rigid.
sounds structured. It sounds rigid. But I, if we are able to start the education for entrepreneurship from a very early age, an appreciation for how you build and grow wealth, and how we treat with money as a people, which is something that we have to go right back into the school, because big people don't know how to treat with money, much less the young children coming up. And
Indeed.
things like accounting. We love things, say things like, I mean, I like maths, I'm afraid of maths, and all kind of things like that. But it's the numbers. At the end of the day, it's the numbers. And things like structure, that we like to sometimes just do a thing, but the structure around it, having people who can look at what you're doing and help you to go to the next level. And sometimes we are afraid to share our ideas or to work with people who are mentors to our business that will help us with various aspects. But that is the key to unlocking the next level of greatness for your business, that we are able to open it up. We're able to have a discussion about it, to get that feedback, and to have a group of persons who are available to us as resources, but actually as part of our network, who
Yes.
bring their network into our ecosystem. And so there's a mindset change too that we have also been focused on, that change in the mindset that says it is okay to seek help. It's okay. You should have persons who are almost a board for you, even if they're not actual directors, that they're an advisory council for you, that will help you with your numbers, that will help you with your corporate governance. Because as you move on the different levels, you cannot get out of the rigor, out of some of these formal processes. But instead of
Right.
seeing them as formal processes that just are getting our way, for us to see how these things unlock the future of the business, that these are the things that make the difference. So I think with the ecosystem working together, but also our small businesses just saying to themselves there, no, mega great. We have to see the business, the potential of the greatness of the
Yes.
business, when we're able to improve some of our systems, improve the way that we approach the business, educating ourselves. We don't need to become accountants, but we need to understand how the different input in our business operates, that we want to get the
Right.
best people involved in our business, and that as small businesses, we are contributors to the gross domestic product of this country. Like, it's not fenke business, serious business.
Serious business indeed, because small business is actually big business. When you Yeah, it's
Exactly.
big business, yeah, because as the figures state, they employ most of the people in Jamaica, and the
Exactly.
contribution to GDP is significant. So, right, and I love the idea that a number of who the DBJ classify as micro. No, they don't. Nobody sees themselves as micro. We are part of the small economy. The Jamaican with little but with Talawa, right? Right. And so that is why these platforms, these tools, the resources, the access is really important, especially now.
Yes.
Because one of the things I like to say, because the whole concept behind the Serenity Resource Connector is to help persons to navigate the terrain, because things can be so daunting, especially when you're just stepping out, or
Hmm.
even if you've been there for a while and you're seeking to go to another level. Yeah. So the important thing is that they do not have to do it by themselves.
Exactly.
Right. And that is why we want to connect with different resources like the Honeybun Foundation, the PSOJ Small Business Portal, so you can all benefit from the information that's out there.
Yes.
Because, yes, there is a lot of information that's out there. We're not short on information, but as we shared earlier, Rochelle, it's about putting it in a format that is easy to understand and also to access.
Yes, yeah, exactly, exactly. And
Right.
that's what small business portal is. It is easy to access. Even the topics that we set out, sometimes if you when you use certain words, people don't really understand exactly what is that topic, how that
What?
topic affect me. So what we do is to say how this particular thing, what this means for you, so that you actually will click onto it, because a lot of times too, because the things seem so daunting. I mean, we are running businesses, we're trying to pay people, we're trying to keep our houses going, we are dealing with COVID, we have a new variant of COVID, there's so many things coming at us.
Yes.
So what we wanted to ensure is that there was information easily accessible, but easy to navigate, because the navigation of it also is extremely important.
Extremely important. And that's one of the beauty about the platforms. And at this point, let's bring Nashauna back on. All
Hi,
right.
Rochelle. My friend from when? How you doing?
Great to see you.
All right. You see why this is the resource connector? Aw- Awesome, right? So, as Rochelle was sharing just now about the need for simplicity, easy to understand, and that's one of the things about the platform, Honeybun Foundation Small Portal, Business Portal. It's very easy to navigate, even for those who do not have any in-depth technology, computer skills. It's just so easy to navigate, and that is really important, because there are some platforms when you go on, it is just so complicated. So even though the information is there, people will not go any further than that front page because it's really daunting. So kudos to Michelle Chung and the team at the Honeybun Foundation and the PSOJ team for continuing to do an awesome job. And I know that there are new models coming out, and I'm looking forward to the other exciting topics for the PSOJ COVID Cast JA, right? As we help to build brand Jamaica, because that's what it's all about.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about.
Yes. And
Proud
thank you for this program,
Jamaicans.
Open Some. This
Uh,
is this resource collector is a very important aspect of the conversation. And I just urge that, our small businesses that are listening to these programs, that you see, when we have like education, when we know some things, but Jamaicans, if we just know a little bit, we can
You
be
don't
able
have
to
to be.
ask different questions. We are
yes.
able to access the information differently. When we go into the bankers to have the conversation, we're going not from a place of wonderment of, where am I, but a place of knowing the right questions to ask, asking about our interest rates,
That's
asking about
it.
the banking policies. We have to put ourselves in that space because it is available to, and we never needed to do an MBA for it. Use the information that we have, and let's ask the questions, and let's push for the things for our businesses.
That's it. That is it. And information can't be too much. It's just about sifting through and picking on what you need in this moment, so it doesn't become daunting, because it can get really overwhelming at times. But and I know that the COVID Cast JA does quite a bit of that in terms of getting persons comfortable in making the information available in a palatable format, because even in those long session for the day, the way it's done, it is structured in such a way that you just don't want to leave the screen, because you don't want to miss anything. So it's really amazing with that, right? So and for those who are wondering, all the resource connectors shared earlier, all of these platforms really connect people with resources and so on, but the focus is different. If you're paying attention, the PSOJ focusing on financial access, right? Which means you're going to get a plethora of information. All right, we have to learn some new words as well. So you get a lot of information,
Yes. What
whole heap of information over there as it relates to finance and managing. And I see some new things coming on stream too, where there are some programs that's going into the primary schools looking at financial literacy, and I'm really excited about that. I'm not remembering the organizations right now that's doing that, but
PSOJ actually has a financial inclusion project now too, that is focused on getting into the schools, because
right,
we recognize that it's not a part of it's not a cultural thing for us. We like money, but the education of how to make, grow, and keep it, and how to do it over generations is something
yes,
that requires some work. And we're seeing more entities, in fact, coming out with programs that are focused on building not just no wealth, but that generational wealth that will move on from granny to grandpitney to their children. That grows it. So I
yes,
think it's a big part. You remember, we get away with things like, me like English, me don't like maths, or I'm a science.
Yes, yes, yes,
You
yes.
know, I mean, I'm just like, we have to know that, we have to understand it.
Mhm.
So whatever, even if, whether or not you're working for people or you're employing persons, you still have to treat yourself as a business, and that you're a CEO of the
Of
business.
you.
Wherever your revenue is coming from, you have to
yes.
be CEO of that. Yeah. So that is something, and I think we are also pushing for it, but that next level where we go right back into the schools is going to be the winner for the generations to come.
Yeah.
Indeed, because it's really a matter of going back to basics, because I remember my first account was opened through those, you remember, it's every Friday you used to carry your $1
Yes,
and
yes, yes,
20 cents.
yes,
And
yes.
when you see it adding up, it
Mhm.
was just such a good feeling.
Yes,
And when you're able to get your bank book,
yes. To this day, I still have that one of those counts. Yes.
yes.
From when I was in primary school to now,
From,
yes. That's
from
what
And,
it
primary
starts.
school, yes.
and yes, and you don't want to touch that. And if the parents ever dare touch it, no,
No,
that's your savings.
exactly.
Right, but yes, it's about building on that now to take it from that level where you get into because now the children are even more interested in investment, taking it beyond saving to
Yes.
investment. So we have to guide them along that path. Um, because interestingly, the topic for Parents Month is positive parenting impacting generations. And
Hmm.
what we don't know as parents, we need to go find out so that we can teach the children, so we can positively impact them so they can impact the next generation. So,
Exactly.
right, awesome things. And I know that PSOJ and the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce and the Chamber of Commerce Network going to be doing a lot of advocacy. So as Ms. Chung said, we're really not satisfied with the banking system and the ease of doing business is they will still have a far way to go. And so through these different organizations, and Nashauna shared earlier about volunteerism, and that's a big part of what is lacking, why we're not able to move forward, because it's so challenging to find people to volunteer their expertise in terms of advocating for some of these changes. We want to see change, but we're not willing to get into the ring and make a difference. So we're making a call out now for those with the expertise who are able to make the difference to come on board, join these different organizations to be a part of the change. Because we have to be the change that we want to see,
Yeah.
because it's
That's
not
why
going to
we have
happen.
to recognize a foundation like Honeybun Foundation that
Yes,
has gone further than the concept of just giving people things,
Thank
giving
you.
a donation of money here, a donation of money, some things, to
yes,
let's equip people to fish. Let's
that's
build
it.
Thank
a
you. Yes.
generation of fishermen that are also creating other fishermen. So I think, I don't know if sometimes people understand the enormity of the importance of this venture. It's a completely different way of a business contributing to a nation, a completely different way, which must be
Thank you,
appreciated.
Rochelle.
Yeah,
Yeah, as you had said earlier, Rochelle, that every big business was a small business, and Honeybun, who is now a medium-sized business, was a small business. So the founder of the foundation knows what small business goes through, and this is her way of paying it forward.
Bring it forward, yes. Powerful,
that
powerful.
is very powerful indeed, really powerful. And I trust that a lot more organizations will get on board and
Yes.
see, yes, see the need, because you cannot lose. There's no way you can lose when you help to build, because as you build others, it is just the principle of it. You must grow.
Mhm.
There's no way you can be building others and remain at the same level. It just does not work.
True. True,
It
true.
doesn't work that way. The principle of it is that you will grow in turn. So we paid forward. Ladies, we could we could go on and on and on, but I know that Rochelle have to prepare for her program this evening. Yes, and Nashawn, I have to get back to the business of running the Honeybun Foundation to
Yes,
finalize our
yes.
calendar for the upcoming year. So be sure to go and check out the Honeybun Foundation calendar on the honeybunfoundation.com, and you can find them on Instagram
Instagram,
at the Honeybun Foundation
Foundation, JM, JM,
JM. All right, let's get it right. The Honeybun Foundation JM on
JM.
Instagram. Rochelle, share with us the connections for PSOJ. I know that it's smallbusinessportal.com,
Smallbusinessportal.com. Yeah, just
right?
one word, smallbusinessportal.com.
Quick
And
and easy.
on small business, yeah, keep it simply. And on smallbusinessportal.com, there are links to everything that we are doing and all of our small business resources. And COVID Cast airs at 7:30 p.m. every Thursday. It's available on the PSOJ Access to Finance Facebook page as well as our YouTube page. And it's nowadays where social media matters. So follow us on Instagram to keep abreast of what we're doing. And what we've done too is that the conferences, we know that it's not easy to sit down and watch the whole conference. So we've opened it up, sliced it into pieces so that persons can go back and watch. But also all our conference booklets, which are very extensive. This last one on the building wealth, bad. I
Oh,
mean, it's
yes.
so good. We got great resource experts with some checklists there that when you're looking at even tips to manage a small business, of checklist, and it's available free that you can just download. Because we want businesses to grow. That's how this nation will grow through our businesses. Yes,
That's it.
And we all benefit from that. Me, you, all of us.
all of
All
us.
of us. Indeed. Ladies, thank you so much again for sharing space with me here on the Serenity Resource Connector. Look forward to bringing you on again later when you add more models and different dimensions to the PSOJ Small Business Portal. so that we can share. So the Serenity Resource Connector is focused at the community level because that's where I connect at the community level. So right, because we need to keep the ecosystem going and yeah, still bridging the gap. So thank you so much and
Our
continued
pleasure.
success as you continue to grow and glow as we build brand Jamaica land we love.
Thanks for having us, Winsome. It was our pleasure.
Thank
Awesome. Have a great one and stay safe. And
You
remember,
too.
people, sharing is caring. So be sure to share this link so others can get wind of the conversation. Because I know a number of people are at work, but they can catch it later on. And the different resources that are available, be sure to share that so that others can be empowered along the journey. God bless you. And
thank
you
you.
all
You
take
too.
good care as we wrap this episode of the Serenity Resource Connector. We do this again, same time, same place next week, where we move on to another focus area, more in line with the season. Regardless of what is going on around us, we are alive, we are well, so we have to keep moving forward. All right.
All right.